Round 2. Just make sure everything is online before I do it. Okay, testing sound. Yeah, it sounds good. Okay, cool. I should be happy with that, right? All right, welcome back. This is Primo. We are on the Primo Show, or whatever the heck you want to call it. And we're back at the LS Tuners to talk about something that I've wanted to talk about for quite some time now. So, originally everybody was cheering on that we were going to have some sort of update for the LS Tuners, but instead we got that crap right there. Let's see, how do you point? There you go. That one? Yeah, that. So you got that and that. That was our update. Basically being able to make that Chrome Devastate over there, whatever. So what I had hoped would happen was we would start adding cars to the game that was LS Tuner friendly, if you will. And then we could get more competitive, if you will. Or, you know what, just, you know, maybe meek out the playing field a little bit more, make it more viable to play different cars and have different kind of competitions and that kind of stuff. And, you know, maybe the game's dying, I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to have us the ability to test that. Originally, I wanted to go and do back to the rain show because it's like a really short race that we could do, you know, some good times on, and you had a solid run with it. But the only thing I have made is the stuff that I made. So I said, you know what, if we're going to do that, I said join the club would probably be the best one. Yeah, so that's, what is it, 2 minutes, 15 seconds is what I'm doing on, and I'm sure you guys are doing way more. But that's fine. So what we're going to do, because this is a created race versus the actual pursuit race, because we can't do solo because we want to do testing. So what I've done is I've made a handy-dandy little sheet here, and I'm going to write down my time. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get a baseline. So we'll just have everything set off. So I went in, and that's why I'm kind of late. I didn't want to do this at 3. I wanted to do it at 1. But I had to go in and actually set up the races so that they're allowing me to do this and use actually all the cars and that kind of thing. So the first thing I do is do a calico and get like a baseline for it. I do need to go back in here and do a follow-up to the series before where we tested it out, showing the best race areas for all the different people. So this is not how I wanted to start. Okay. I wanted to do a test where I could show you the best lines for all the different cars. I don't know if doing that is gonna be quick or not, but I did want to use the wording on it as advanced, because the original stuff that we did before was really for people to test. Basically, like if you're entry level and you just started doing pursuit and you're like, I don't want to do any of the crazy shortcut stuff, that you had something that you could do. And now there's really a lot more that can be done when it comes to speed to make pursuits like really kind of optimized, if you will. And it'll allow you, if you know all those areas, you can get into races with people that are much better than you and have a chance of winning. So I wanted to go back and do that, but again, they're really advanced techniques, so it's like, okay, so I'm in trouble, I want to do this. So I don't know if I want to make that as just one video or just do a bunch of videos kind of going through all the different things that people can do all by themselves, or do it as one big whole video. I don't know. The thing I got to focus on right now is making sure that I get consistent lines, which crashing at the beginning was not consistent, but whatever. This will be a lot faster than the actual pursuit run. And that's what we're going to find really funny here. So even with the small faux pas at the beginning, you're going to see something very interesting with how I crash consistently when I'm being recorded. I ran this for 3 days and didn't have a single problem. Do it right first show, I've already had 2 crashes. I'm probably going to do another run with this. Because like, what is that? Yeah, nothing's working. Go back and do it again. Dude! Like that. What's going on? My thingy no worky. Alright, so I'll try it again. We'll do another one. We'll do the Calico again. Yeah, we'll like it. Replay. Thankfully, they still have the replay option here. So I can hit the Calico again. Okay. That was one of the best things I ever did, was create this race for testing purposes. It really helped you out when you're like, I don't want to learn on the fly. When you're competing against people, you're not focused on your best line. So you have to kind of dial it in. Like I said, I wanted to go back and do the street races and have those be a part of the, like, a created thing, so you could go test and, you know, get your best speed on it, that kind of thing. They're just really set up weird. And I've been going in and looking at people like with these high-speed runs or something, and they're like doing things that like one was back to the Rancho, which I think my best is like a 104, 103, and that's with the new cars, not the old cars. And I had somebody who was doing like a 59-second run on it. Like, that just doesn't seem right, even with the Vector. So, not paying attention to my driving now, and now I'm doing a lot better. That's my thing. I'd like to have the Vector be a solid pursuit car. That would be a lot of fun. See, I want to get my line the way I actually do it in a race. I know I can go a lot farther out on that turn. But see, I corrected that. This car just doesn't want to turn. See, there's a cop there, so I did just go through it, so I'm going to have to remember not to shortcut that. But I am going to shortcut this, because usually a cop to the right here. So you have to slow down and get your bearing, and then hit that too fast, you might flip. So I'm doing my best not to, like, I just want the baseline runs to be good, because everything else is fixable. Okay, we'll recover from that. That won't be too bad. There, that works. Okay, so what do we got for baseline? So 210.032, to put that in perspective, that's about 5 seconds faster than what I would normally do. Now, I'm going to do this again with the Jester, and the reason I'm going to do it again with the Jester is because I want to get a perfect baseline. And the reason I want to do that was because I want to say, if Rockstar wants to add cars to this, they have the 2 areas. Now, what I find funny about this, because you're going to be like, oh, well, the Jester can't do as good as the Calico. Okay, we'll see about that. Most of the times when you race with catch-up on, and you race, it's funny because it's set up a certain way. That's the best way I know how to explain it. That there's something different about Pursuit. It's especially with, you have the cops, you have all this other stuff in it, and cars just run a little weird. You know what I mean? Now, the Jester on paper should actually be the fastest car, but the Calico ends up being the fastest car. So I think it might be basically because of the way it's set up. There's maybe something special that's done with Pursuits that makes it kind of broken, if you will, and the idea that the Calico has that nice 0 to 60, and a lot of times in pursuit, you're basically braking a lot because you're dodging traffic or you're dodging something, you know what I mean? Like there's always like a roadblock or something, so you're really not taking your optimal line. But we'll see how that works here and see if, like, I'm just going to kind of run it the way, you know, there will be a cop right there. That would be your blocking point. So just going through it like this and saying, okay, if I can do this in a normal run, what would it look like with the Jester? So the other thing that happens is the Jester on catch-up, I don't know what it does to it, but it just hurts it. It destroys the Jester's ability to get a top speed. And I just think that is like the worst thing ever, because it is such a solid car, and I love it. And I just don't see it like why can't we have this thing, you know? I think we should try the SF95 too, so I would have hit the cop there, but whatever. So yeah, we'll do that. Maybe that's what we'll do next, because that was like, I think that was the car that everybody said, hey, it's going to be added. Like the Comet convertible, there wasn't any big upgrade to that car, so it would be the same as everything else. So for some reason it didn't get the tuner treatment, which I'm very upset about. But there was really no reason for it not to get the treatment. But with the SF95, I think that car is super fast. And again, we're kind of doing this. Go, 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 go. There you go. All right, so that did a 211. $213, but whatever. All right. I think that's a good baseline. 210, 213. There's your two areas. Now we got to start testing cars that were not on the list. I think the next one would be the SF95 from. I think that's a sport. We'll see. It'll be easy to shift it over, so we'll do that. See, I got everything set up here, and if we don't do the sport, we can at least do something else. I have a feeling that this car is going to be way too overpowered with the new HAL update on it. Everything's in alphabetical order, thankfully. I'm telling you, there's so many cars. Okay, just wrote that on my list. Look at that bad boy. Thing screams race. And this is, I want to say this is based off the, well, it used to be FRS and BRZ, and it's now, I think, just loaded in. Oh yeah, this thing is super fast. Now it's based off the, it's the A86. It'd be funny if we did a 2 flat here. So yeah, the goal will be, if we beat the Calico, we couldn't. I don't want to beat it for more than a second. If it's faster than it, then it fails. Like way faster than it does. That's the beauty of the tuner class right now, is it's so competitive. And I mean, like, even with the Vector and all the other cars, it's still in the same range of being like, you don't beat them by that much. You know, like, I need to test the times again on each car, but they are very close and very competitive. So if somebody says, hey, I bought a, oh, okay, well, hitting a person, what, is it just gonna roll forever or what? So when you go with a Vector, you go with another car, you still have a fighting chance to win if you know what you're doing. That's also the beauty of pursuits. Dude, that was crazy. I hit that dude on the side of the road and like flipped over like 16 times. Somebody go back and count that and put it in the comments. Oh, we do have a comment too, so I gotta look at that after done focusing on this. Whoa. Even with the crash, if this thing does a 215, it's way too fast. And I didn't think it would be not too fast. And that's the thing is, I don't want the pariah moment with tuners. So the point of suggesting which cars to use, no bueno. Ooh, she wants to get squirrely bad. Yeah, so that did a 210 with the 212 with a big crash, so that's a negative. That was good. I just saw those comments, Dr. Plague. That was funny. Might have to redo that road. Yeah, you're not kidding, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the S95 though, it's just way too fast. I want to try. I know this is a little bit off the everything I see with this one is when you do the testing, you do the other stuff. Everybody shows the Drift Tampa, and I tested it earlier, and I was like, you know what? Let's give that a shot and see what that does. I'm almost like we're going the wrong way here. The Penumbra FF will be part of this equation. I want to test the Komodo. We're going to be here for a little bit. Yes, and I will effectively take requests. So, where's my Drift Tampa? I probably went right by it, didn't I? Did I? Okay, this is going to be annoying. It is a sport, right? Okay. Oh, dude. It's under the T. Yeah, I had a feeling it was you, Tomboy. I do like that name, though, the Dr. Plague. And by the way, you are highly missed and still a star of my videos. We'll always keep a place for you as the, like I said, as, what do you call it? Is it co-star? Yeah, I like that, co-star. So yeah, if anybody sees this later and you see the comments, Tomboy was somebody that started with me in basically like some of my racing stuff a long time ago. And if you've seen any of the old videos that we had, you've definitely seen Tomboy's character at least giving some kind of weird face at some point or another. But he was in every video, and the biggest one that we ever, pretty much the biggest GTA video I think we had, Tomboy, was the biker update when we were saying they needed a biker update. By the way, that was made before there was a biker update. And we made that video, and sure enough, they added a biker update. I'm not saying that I was responsible for that. There was a lot of people begging for a biker update, but that was the thing is I really just pushed at the end like, we have to have a biker update. We can't live without one, and it got a ton of views and a ton of people that were like, "Yep, you're right," and I was really happy about that. So we did it with a lot of the old GTA 4 stuff kind of mixed in together with the music. So it came out really good, and it actually has his name on it and everything. So he got immortalized. So if you want to go back to that, check out those old videos. By all means, feel free. I should be embarrassed by them, but I'm not. I liked them. They were a lot of fun, and I had a lot of good players back then that played all the time with me. So, and in some respects, I really missed that old stuff. That was a lot of fun. That's the thing. I want to have the street racing competition where we have something. The tuner update. You guys don't realize how much broken down this has. So much opportunity to be a very cool, like, usable update. You know what I mean? Yeah, there we go. Well, 216.605. A little slow. But still doable. Hey, you know what? Let's do this then. Let's do a test of, what do you think I think the slowest thing I have is basically like the S15 for tuners. We'll look through the list and we'll do the slowest one. So we'll try to keep it within that area of slowest to fastest, because I've only really tested the two fastest, which is the Jester and the Calico. We got 210, 213. This did a 216, so, and no, I'm not counting the ZR350, because that's actually, I love the ZR350. It's a little squirrely, so I don't want to do the run about 1,000. The Previan is actually faster than you guys think. Don't even say it. Tailgater's pretty cool. Before the Vector came out, the Tailgater was a lot of fun. I really think that the Remus here is it's going to have to do it. So I'm going to write Remus over here. Drift Tampa. No, I see. Yep, you didn't think about that. Lawn Care Championship. Oh my God, the best ever. So our guy E4 Chin put together the Lawn Care Championship, the coolest championship ever, and I was not here for him to run it. So I was really depressed because I didn't get to be involved in it. But it was 5 races. E4 Chin put in all this effort to make these 5 races, and they were all lawnmower only, and they were really like all the places in Los Santos that needed their lawn cut. But the way he set it up was perfect. I did get to run it the 5 races before I left, and like before they got to run it, I got to run the whole set. And I have to say, it was like such a blast to do. But it was the slowest championship in the history. Like, they did 5 races, and I think it took like close to 5 hours to do it. It was hilarious. So yeah, and some of them had laps. So yeah, it was great. And I said, and not that it's going to be as good, because I don't think anything can actually be as good as the Lawn Care Championship, which Tomboy, by the way, has the only time we ever ran it, he won it, and he has the championship, which I even stated in the bylaws of the Fakar Racing Group that he can't ever have it taken away. So even if we have another one, he can't ever lose it. I'm going to stop running that route because there's people here for some reason. But I always said that when the go-karts came out, because that was the original thing that I was like, dude, we got to do a road. My idea was a go-kart championship. But I said we're not going to be able to have it until GTA brings it out. And that's when he came back with, I already have basically the tracks made for the Lawn Care Championship. And he's like, I'll just change them over to lawnmowers. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is epic. So yeah, so the best championship ever. I didn't get to make it to it, and Tomboy won it. So I would like for those to be, even those tracks. E4 Chin said he still has them. And then I was like, the playlist and everything, I was like, it needs to be somehow immortalized. Like, GTA needs to like take that list of what do you call it, races and everything, and just like make them part of GTA history or something, so that other people could run it. So we'll call it the Tomboy Invitational. That's what it was. That would be awesome. Ooh, that hurt. Okay, so that's a 216. Alright, so Drift Tampa actually passes then. I'm going to go with it. Yeah. So, I mean, Remus is really, I mean, that's not a competitive car, but it is actually on the back end. So, let's do that. I just want to find a reason to conclude the Drift Tampa. But it's definitely slow, so not on the top guys. Alrighty. Okay, so who's up? So the S95 was out. That's a no-go. So I did a video a while back too that was cars that need to be added to the LS tuners, and one of the ones we've done is the Sentinel XS. Now back then, I hate to say it, the Sentinel XS. Did I do this again? Darn it. Yeah, I did. So I'll just back out. I think I didn't set it to sports, or maybe I did, and I just didn't change it. Whatever. We can decently do it. So I did a video, and I said originally these were the jobs that, you know, these cars would be great for LS tuners, but at the time they just weren't fast enough to do it, and the Sentinel XS was one of them. But recently, the Sentinel XS got a little bit of a boost. I want to say it's a coupe. We're going to do that. So watch, it'll be a sedan. I'll lose my stuff. Now I got to figure it out. That's okay. There's some coupes in here. If it's not in the coupes, we'll do something else. But now that it has the HOW update, it's actually a pretty fast car. So let's see what we got in here. If the Sentinel XS is in, oh, look at him. Cognoscenti Cabrio, custom felon. Wish the Oracle had something. Maybe that was it. Yeah, so here it is. All right, so this is with the HOW. Now, I don't know if the HOW stuff is on with this, but we'll get a time anyway. So with the HOW updates, this car could definitely be competitive. So we'll see. That kind of feels it. That's this car I always thought needed some sort of update. You know what I mean? It needed to be faster for what it was. It was such a collectible back in the day because people were having so many problems back when the game first came out finding one, and they were just a coveted car. I ended up getting one really, really early, and it was just a blast to have, and I was glad I got it. But that was back in the compact era, and that was when you really, like, when racing, I raced with it a little bit. It did okay, but it was even underpowered for that class, which is really weird for something that should be like an M3. And the car that was beating it was, what do you call it? I think it was the Dubachi. Exemplar, that's what it was, yeah. So the problem with this car is that it gets a lot more power, but it doesn't get a lot more stability. So I feel like I'm really kind of trying to rein the car in. It's like a Calico, but without, like, the Calico is just stiff turning. This wants to turn, but it wants to turn too much, like it's too loose. So, and remember, I'm taking these inside lines here because I'm trying to be consistent and kind of say this is where the cops would be. So if you want to know the difference between these runs and how they'd probably actually run, see, that's the real trick. We're just trying to get a baseline to see if they would apply. And I would say at the minimum, you'd be adding 5 seconds to every run, just because you have to, whoa. Everything is dynamic. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on with all right, so we'll count that. What is it, 215? 215. It's actually a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. I mean, a lot slower. I thought that was with the upgrades was going to be a lot faster, but it wasn't. Still within our range though. So Sentinel XS fits tuners. So now I'm gonna do a slow one. There we go. And I want to try. I think so. Yeah, we got the Ballista Conjo. I think that thing is gonna be super slow, and it kills me because it's like that. The Asbo. I want to do that so bad. And the BF Club. We'll go back to you. The Issy Classic. Look at all these cars that like just scream I'm a tuner. Hey, even, I don't know. I like this car. You guys can call it race all you want, but the funny thing about this thing is that like there is a car that really closely resembles this thing, all done up, and I would drive it all day of the week. It was a time trial car, and it's even a lot faster than what it represents when it comes to GTA. I just think I don't care. I think these things should be a lot faster. I think in general there is too much speed differences between all the cars. I think things should be tightened up. I think that if you do engine modifications of 5, so you're paying for 5 levels of engine modifications. I don't care if you say the engine modifications should be more expensive. Oh, let's recover from that. If the engine modifications were more expensive, then they'd be more expensive and be able to make the cars better overall. I mean, cars that look like this are time attack cars, will take on cars much faster than themselves. And like, I mean, this car right here on a track, obviously it wouldn't do as well on the street, but on a real time attack tile would take on cars that were like supercars. So, and I think a lot of that stuff is really lost on a lot of video games because, I mean, there comes a point when, like for instance, the Super GT race car, which is one of my favorites, is a Prius race car. It is a V8 hybrid, and it's making like 400 horsepower. That thing is sick, and it's all-wheel drive too. So it's like, why couldn't we have something like that? It would even make boring cars exciting. So, and by the way, I would love to own one of those race cars. Everybody's like, oh, you would own a Prius? I'm like, yes, a V8 mid-engined hybrid 400 horsepower like race car. Who wouldn't? Who cares about the name? It's not a Prius anymore at that point, really, too. So, and one of the things I do want to kind of, because it's something that you really couldn't change with this, is to understand the dynamics of a car. So that failed miserably. 230 is definitely not going to be competitive, and I'm going to cry myself to sleep because of it. So let's go over to the penumbra. And I think that's it. The ASBO is going to be even worse. But we're still testing this stuff. I don't care. We're going to test it all. All of it. I don't care how long it takes. It's either that or when my meal gets here, I'm going to be like, okay, I got to go then. But I can't. Come on, guys. Get some viewers out. Did I do that again? I did that again, didn't I? I didn't change the settings. You know what? To heck with it. I'll do the 3R50 and we'll see where it lands. That way, you know what? We'll just see how far this expansion goes. See where we got in range. Still love this car. And by the way, this car not being good in pretty much anything it's involved in is a crime. I'm just going to say it. Rockstar, you need to have a letter. This car needs to be done in a way in Benny's that allows it to be like an Amamiya race car, wide body. Like if you've seen any of that, we're just looking at the thing today. It was 2 types of RX-7s, the NSX Type R, obviously, versus 3000 GT and a Supra. And this car came in, I think it was second place with the NSX Type R coming in second. What I find funny about it is it also came in the underpowered version of the NSX and another version of the RX-7. Came in next to last and last. So the 3000 GT was right dead center. And the Supra, I think, was below that. So the Supra actually did worse than the 3000 GT. Now, obviously, that's not upgraded or had anything done to it, but I mean, this car with work done to it is amazing. Like, it's a tough to beat car. In fact, I would like it to kind of shock me right now and do better than some of the other stuff. Yeah, maybe we'll buy a Fudo and try the Fudo too. See how badly that does. Because the Fudo was I have the sport class Fudo, which, funny enough, has an insane top speed, but it doesn't. Its handling is so bad that it's like very tough to handle. Maybe we'll discover something crazy in this, you know. It didn't disappoint. Sorry, Blisto Conjo, that you didn't get it. So that really means, so what were we doing before? Oh, Penumbra. So yeah, Penumbra's next. But you know what? We're going to go, let's do the Fast and Furious cars. That'll keep us in sports class. It'll keep me remembering to flip over to sport. Okay, so sport. There we go. Morning. I think it's funny you guys will be watching this and be like, you're pressing the wrong buttons. I'm like, yes, I know. Okay, so we're Penumbra FF. Oh, we're doing that later too. It really makes me understand where these cars kind of sit in the performance side. You start realizing that Calico is a lot faster than you think, which is kind of depressing because I'm like, well, it would have been cool to make them. I think Rockstar tried to kind of, how did I miss that? Tried to make these cars underpowered, and I think in reality they just made them more powered. Like, they should have made the tuner class almost completely useless outside of the tuner class. So, look at the S95. Like, what the heck is that? You know, like, that thing is supposed to be. It's the car that it represents is definitely not taking on supercars like they do in this game. Versus the Eclipse was and I owned this car right here. The Eclipse was it had potential for power. It was very heavy, so I liked it at 400 horsepower. The all-wheel drive just made it so much more well-balanced. It was really, I loved it in the snow. And the thing I love about this car is the fluidity of it. I can go a lot faster on a car that's fluid than you can go on a car that you're really kind of trying to rein it in all the time. See, like, that really wanted to take the right line for me. And that's the car you want in your life. Dodge the cop there. You didn't like the hill. But I'm glad we got this car. I was very psyched to have this in. The only thing I don't have that was my real live car was the 7th gen Celicas and the Porsche 944s. So some type of front engined water cooled Porsche would be a lot of fun to add to the game. Oh man, that did not handle right. So we're probably lost about 4 seconds in that. Ooh, it does not like leaves at all. Yep. I'm going to give that car a pass. If it had not, it's still slower than the Calico and the other one, but I'm going to call that a 215. So that, I mean, that's the first one that was a shock for me, is that it actually was a competitive car. Well, maybe I shouldn't say competitive because it's not going to take on the Calico, but okay. Jester Classic? Anybody? Oh, that Ocelot Lynx, the Komodo. That's a weird car right there. Yes, Jester Classic. Here we go. Okie doke. Jester Classic time. Alright. Had to write that down. It's not on my list. That's the beauty of this, is like you start learning these cars and it's like, can't even think about that car. We gotta test that car. We gotta test this car. A little bit of airborne there. That's fine. This feels like it's struggling to generate power, but it's got incredible grip. Nothing like the real car. It's more like a race car variant, which I like, so not complaining there in the least. Ooh, look at that. That was a fluid turn. I did want to get off there because I was like, I just have just a little bit of too much power to drive it in. Very intuitive car. I don't know, this would, if this does a 210, we have a Calico contender. I don't know, I'd probably support this thing being in it big time. Kind of just sitting back here and like, okay, is it gonna do it? Is it gonna do it? Oh no! I'm trying to keep an eye on that. Like, oh, no. I tried to save it. Darn it. I suck. I didn't even count how many seconds we lost on that, so. Ooh. Some of these cars get real squirrely and they do not like. There you go. 218. Wow. It just seems so much. I mean, so a Calico is faster than a Jester Classic. I'm going to do this run one more time here. Thank you, Mike Drop. Good game to you as well. I got a couple more in here, I hope. I'm kind of beating myself up over, yeah, we'll do noon. Over that last one with the Jester Classic. I just don't, I think that car deserves a good, solid run, and did I not change it again? I'm telling you, this is getting annoying. I got to remember to change it to sport. Like, change it to sport. Don't be an idiot. Okay. Online. Quick job. Play job. My job. Race. Join the club. Ugh. Now, change it to sport. Change it to sport. Change it to sport. Okay. I'm getting too excited. That's the problem. So traffic off, wanted off, customs on, ketchup and slipstream. Oh, because I didn't change it up there. There you go. That way, like that. Oh, camera. Yeah, the rest of the stuff's arbitrary. Okay. Now we're gonna Jester Classic again. Good. I'm gonna. I raced the last time. I know it's going to do 2 minutes. So that's good. But I need it to... So remember, our top time is 2:10. Our bottom time is 2:20. We haven't tested a Futo, so... And for some reason, I didn't miss the boost again. What is going on? Not paying attention. I need to pay attention. I need to pay attention. And some of that, like, you're going to say, like, oh, well, it screwed up a little bit right there. Like, that's stuff that's associated with just driving a Jester Classic. Like, how stiff the suspension is, how it reacts on the road. That stuff, I'm going to have to keep it. Like, the Ignis or whatever, the one that they just did, they added, that was if you put the wrong mirrors on, it bounced so bad that you couldn't drive it. Like, everybody goes, well, test it and get the best time you possibly can get. I'm like, the best time is a crash time. Like, if you can't drive that thing, if you crash 2/3 of the time, or let's say 8 of the 9 times, the best crash time is your time. Because if it's not drivable, it's just not drivable. And I got this thing hammered, so... I mean, this car drives so well. It's some of the best runs, other than the crash on the wall, that I've ever had. And I think that the wall crash, if you will, is part of that, how hot you can get this car into the corner here. And that's good. Like, if you make one mistake, you just get them acclimated to it and you correct it. I do think that all these cars are suffering from... Like right in here, this area, I have to take it a little bit slower because it just does not like coming off its wheels. It doesn't like hitting grass. So it's like I kind of have to... Did well there. There you go. Much better. 2:15, so that's in the zone. Can't do wrong there. Okay. It's a big zone if you think about it. Calico, Jester, Remus, ZR350. We are gonna go get that. See, I almost did it again. Yeah, I want to have some fun. Like, you got to break up the monotony here. So I'm going traffic off, wanted off. Yeah, there we go. I just got to make sure I'm like the classes are right now. I'm going to go get that ASBO. We're going to do it. Yeah, this is it. We got to see what this thing would get. So the Conjo was 230. Relief stress and anxiety. I'll be happy to, sir. Thank you for saying so. I love how it feels. It's like, wow, like it just wants to go and nothing happens. Like, that was the most anticlimactic boost I've ever seen in my life. Like, oh yeah, we're going. Yep, we didn't go very far. And the other thing that I should remind everybody is that with the tuners, and they did have some of their own flags, that when they are cambered out, they actually have better handling, which of course affects their top speed. But if you put on the drift stuff, it basically does a little bit opposite on the handling side. So it's really weird. And so I tested that with the Sultan RS, and with it cambered way down, it was almost like it lost a ton of like ability. Like it just wasn't fast anymore because its handling was so bad. But on a track like Get Trucked, it seemed like it was something I wanted to run. Regardless, it just wasn't. It still wasn't Calico speed. So, which I find funny because you think, hey, it is what it is. And like the Jester should be winning at Get Trucked all the time, and it doesn't. So, and I do think that's a lot of that. The Calico 0 to 60 makes up for it, and some of that is really, I guess like the way I say it is it's kind of counterproductive when it came to designing the cars. Like I kind of wanted to say that the Calico had that nice 0 to 60, but had too much on the top end. So the Jester would be the top end car, the Calico had, and then the classes would have been a lot more well balanced. And instead, the Vector is the fastest street racer, and the Calico is the fastest, what do you call it? Like pursuit car, just because it has that better top end. Like we're already at 209 right now. I've been doing my best to kind of just keep my gas planted to the ground here, but I'm like, can it make it up the hill? There's only one way to find out. I had to shift down. There we go. Well, that was painful. Hey, at least I can thumbs up my own race a couple thousand times. Okay, so we'll try the sedans. I just bought that new Chicamila or whatever. Let's see what we got in here. Wow. I really went off on that car, didn't I? Okay. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Okay. The Deity. Cool. And that's what I want to test right there. Okay. Okay. So that's it. We can... That... The other stuff, like this is, for instance, in the class it's in. This car screams tuner to me. Let's see what it's got. Yeah, that feels a lot like the Asbo. Oh, that's right. We didn't do the LG Retro Custom? Yeah. That is a must. So this is a car that definitely needs a Benny's option. The Benny's option for it would be a lot of camber, but it would be what's called a VIP car. So because it's kind of loosely based around that, like, I guess Lexus look, and that's a big thing over there, like for VIP in Japan, is being able to do stuffed cars like this, and do them up and give them tons of cool options that make them VIP, including paint and look, that kind of thing. But it's one of those cars that I guess hides really well. So, but the more Lexus has gone on, obviously, the more it's been, I think, a more appreciated brand, especially for its ability to hold value. Like, it just, I'm not sure if there's many companies that can hold their value as good as Lexus's can. But yeah, that's the beauty of it. You get a nice car, you do it up, and you can keep it for a long time. and it looks really good, and it's got some speed to it. I don't know what they're overall, how they are performance-wise, but I just know they're fun, and I like them. And people are like, yeah, they're boring. I'm like, do the car up. And I don't do the camber stuff on my personal cars, but I definitely like the idea of like the video game camber kind of stuff. So, and nothing wrong with the way they have a very interesting style that I call the executive style, which is a lowered style, but it keeps the wheels very not a lot of camber. Basically, like try to get it race style so that it's performance oriented. I want it to be like a functional fast is the best way I know to explain it. 226. We do. Oh yeah, and I'll put the Comet Retro Custom too. Okay, so next is the Elegy. Let's get in Fast and Furious cars, and we'll get over to the other car, the Fast and Furious stuff. So I'll have to write it down. Like, I can't remember the name of the car. But we'll just, you know what, we'll jump. We'll do the Comet Retro Custom. We'll skip to the muscles on the next one. Wow, this is smooth. This feels like it's got what it takes to be a calico killer. You got a lot more running room with it, so I think if you actually applied it to the races or to the class, I think it would it might be a little bit too powerful, or it might choke. Who knows? I would love to be able to test the 0 to 60s for these cars. See, it wants to go way far out. Now, normally, if I was running in the actual race, I probably would have been hitting the brakes there to get through that area. So, one of the reasons I don't take that ranged out so far, a lot of times there's going to be a roadblock on the left side. I have no idea why it shows up where it does, but there's basically a roadblock on one side, and it blocks off your ability to take that turn at its best. So I don't take it right on this because, like I said, I want to be consistent, and I want to show that these cars can, they actually will make the class, if you will. I'm hoping if there isn't anybody home right now checking this out. 208. So that is too fast. That's unfortunate. So the Jester did a 215 and that did a 207. Wow. It's muscle car time. They do some Fast and Furious muscle here. running out of paper, space on my paper. I want to run that Deviant. That's my baby right there. Okay. Yeah, cool. Dukes it is. Does it get you sweaty? This car is awesome. I have a feeling I'm going to be reining it in a lot during the race, but hey, it is what it is. It feels a lot comfortable than I thought it was gonna. Yeah, a lot more smooth than I thought it was gonna be. I would laugh if this car actually made the grade. That lady, I thought for sure was going to ruin my run. The other thing that I like about some cars is they feel a certain way when you're taking a line. Like, there's the right line, and then there's the way the car wants to take that line. Like, the way it feels. If it's too tight or it's too loose or whatever, it really kind of puts itself in a position so that it's comfortable how it comes out of a turn. Some cars are like that in real life, but for the most part, cars don't have that. It's like a video game thing, because things are so, I guess the word is solidified. Like, I don't have a steering wheel that really has my inputs at heart, so I have a lot more control in real life than I have in a video game. So finding a car that can find its space in a video game is very important. Usually why when you see me racing real race simulation games, there are certain cars that I kind of levitate to because they feel a certain way when they race, and that's not so much as important now as it was back in the day when we really didn't have, like, there wasn't an Xbox steering wheel. I don't know. I'm going to call that a pass. 218, not 210. We really haven't had a car that's kind of landed. Nope. Oh, well, I'll just back out. Haven't had a car that's really landed within the zone. Like maybe the LG Retro Custom with the 2.0. No, actually, sorry. No, we haven't. Nothing really. It either kills it or it's too slow. That Calica really does have a space, you know. And then the Jester, that 213 for the Jester seems slow. I think I want to try the Schwarzer. I know it's going to be slow, but it's on my list. So, yeah, the S95 was pretty darn close to where I wanted it to be, but it's still just a very fast car. Maybe we'll test that again. My screen glitching here. A lot of Jesters. See, that's the trick, is you're finding to see a lot of these cars are just going to be, I know for a fact they're going to be way too fast. And I think this car is going to be way too slow. That skidding stuff, that's a Schwarzer trait right there, and it's just, it really does keep it from being the best. There it is. Just hit the bump in the road, the back end comes around. So that basically means that when I'm driving, and it's only with specific cars, that I can't keep the gas down when I'm going around a corner that has a chunk of road in it. And cars like the Calico, I can. And that really does slow a car up to make it harder to use. See, like that, it came off the ground a little bit and it just wanted to start stepping out on me, and that wouldn't turn at all. Love this car to death look wise. It's just so depressing that it's not as good as it needs to be. I'm not gonna write down the time for this because I know that it's gonna be way off from what it can do. I do know that to do it, I'm gonna have to take baby it around the corners, and I can already tell that it's not gonna be fast if I do that. So, but the next one, I'm gonna take my baby out. I'm gonna take the Feltzer. Let's see what it'll do. Because I think it's going to do better than I think it's going to do. And that's kind of odd because that car shouldn't fall into the tuner area as they're titled. See, that's the thing is these cars that, like the Conjo, for instance, the Conjo, the Futo, all those cars that kind of should be in their same area code when it comes to GTA are all like in the wrong space. You know, like this car is a lot faster, but it's a lot heavier and it doesn't turn. So it's like, so those little traits that it has that keeps it from being, oh, there you go. Yeah, 235. Man, that's 235. What was the 237 for the Asvo? So the Conjo. I mean, obviously we had a crash, but where's the Conjo at? Yeah, 230 for the Conjo. Rockstar, get your act together. Yeah, it's Feltzer time. So far we have, oh, you know what? LG Retro so we've done like 13 cars so far. Something like that. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so really trying to feel out where, once I get an idea of where these cars are sitting, I think I'm going to get in a better area about what kind of cars work for the class. Right now I've been very disappointed, and I think, oh, I did the Feltzer. You can tell that was like the Freudian slip of the year right there. I'm like, what do you want to do? The Feltzer. Oh yeah. And I like the Comet Retro Custom. It's kind of like the Feltzer's kind of my top one that I love. Always loved it in the game. I was so happy it was in the very, very first. It was probably my first sports car, which you can imagine how disappointed I was when the LG came out and I didn't own it, and I'm like, oh, it's a free car. So I'm thinking, because I got the special edition, and those cars were not game breaking, if you will. How disappointed I was that I was like, so if it's a free car, it's definitely not going to be great breaking, you know? No, it was the fastest sport car effectively in the game. So I've been using this, and the other car was, but I'm actually happy that I didn't, and I won a lot of races with that. I was getting I'd say about 50-50, and my Feltzer wasn't even all the way. I didn't have all the upgrades on it yet. And that's the other thing I have. I would love to use what I'm kind of considering my primary character now, because a lot of the people still play on Xbox One, so I wanted to have that character done up, and I realized that when I did this, that this character may be close to 1,000, but it's when I did it when I moved it up to the Xbox X, that it was going to destroy the old character, and I think they did that specifically because of people like causing problems with that. So I get it. I understand Rockstar. I'm not mad that they did it, but it's like I still need an Xbox One character, so I had to go back and literally rebuild that character. And I'm real close to level 90 now, I believe. Real close to that, if not on it. But that's the thing, is I don't have all the cars. That, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you want to do? I want to test. Can't test because I don't have the cars. 205. .208's close, but still not it. I mean, I'm okay with the Lynx speed being the speed of choice, but I just think this class is way too fast for what it should be. So, Comet Retro Custom, here we go. So the old raw welt car. Yes, as you can see, I have two Feltzers. You can always tell what my favorite cars are because I have like 4 of them or 2 of them. Like that car, I'm amazed I don't already have 6 of them. And what really breaks my heart is that the Growler, which is effectively a 718 Cayman, sucked. Like it's like driving a forklift. The back wheels are where it seems to turn from, and it's really fast, and I've seen a lot of people effectively be able to win races with it. But the thing is I realize that they're winning the races because they haven't realized how to use the Vector yet. They still think that it's the car, not their driving ability, that's winning the races. So, and that's the thing is finding see how that did not move it. Like I ran over that hump and didn't even budge it, didn't even flex it. Was a Schwarzer, I was like airborne when I did it. Whoa, you wanted to go around, didn't you? Here, let me hit that. We'll see where this falls when it's done. I forgot what I was saying. Oof, that hurt. But yeah, so the Growler was supposed to be my car of choice, and it's unfortunate finding a car that's what I remember now saying. Finding a car that drives according to your style is so important, and the Growler does have a specific style that it fits into for drivers. It's too bad too because I think if I'm correct, it's one of the fastest cars. So has that nice 0 to 60, but top end. Yeah, I wanted to do this again because I wanted to test it just like the Schwarzer, but we'll see. Don't want to be here all day testing one or two cars. Not going to write down the number for this, but I am going to keep an eye on what we did with it. I got to remember how to win like that. So a 220? Okay. I think we got a lot left here. I can't really figure out what we got left. So chances are the Comet Retro Custom would fit, but it wouldn't be that fast. Man, hitting that 210. I think it's Futo time. We're going to go build a Futo. Hopefully, because I'm in front of, and it loaded it up, I'm in front of the area there. It'll put me right back, and we can just order it. And I believe I do have space in my area here. Let's return. Nope. Yeah. Where do you go? I forgot where I put this car. Yeah, whatever. We'll do this. I guess I could see up, but I can't see down. Is that how it works? Yeah. So I think I have space at... Let's call the mechanic real quick.
You're through to your garage. You
One,
need
two,
me to bring
oh, yeah,
you a
plenty
ride?
of space. Okay, perfect. Okay, so
Okay,
let's...
I got stuff to do.
Let's go in. We'll go in here. Okay, so we're in here. Do this. Do this. See? Part of the Xbox Series XS. And no, I have not bought an Arbiter, and I don't care to, so. Okay, the Futo GTX. That's the one. And of course, we're going to get it in white, because that's the smart thing to do. Put it over in South Shambles, and then I got to wait for it to deliver. Thing's expensive enough, right? So all in all, I love the pursuit mode. I love the tuners. I love all the stuff. Kind of like the house stuff too. I just don't like how it's kind of set up because there's just too much leeway. I know what they're trying to do, and I like the thinking on it. The application just seems So if you are on, or you show up, or whatever, or you read this later, put us if you want to have a certain car tested that you have not seen tested. Because I think we've been, how long have we been streaming? I don't even know. And you have a car that you want tested, then put it in the comments. If it's, obviously don't say, the Ignis, the weaponized Ignis or anything like that. Obviously that car is going to be too powerful. But yeah, definitely something we're looking for, the Calico 210. So it's a 210 on a Calico, 213 on a Jester. Those are the two big custom cars. Right now I'm going to get the Futo because I want to get a good, because the tuner class does actually stretch across a long range of time. So 210 with the ZR350 it was 220. So I want to get the Futo GTX in here and because it's the same as the regular Futo too, but I need to buy one and get the GTX, do it up, and see where the real true back end of the tuner class is. Wow, this is the longest order I've ever had. There we go. I was like, I might get any second now. the Photo GTX.
You need something, huh?
Which I thought was weird because they added the Photo GTX, not the flags. That's what makes me really wonder about how they program and design cars, because they don't have the ability to, like, I guess the word is separate cars. So, but they added.
Roll up.
There was another car that I can't remember the name of it that was in Sports Classics that was also.
What's that?
Shut up, Hal. That was added to. Weird. That's crazy. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'll do that. So for instance, in the Shafter V12 or another one that is multi-class now. So I think it would be as easy as flipping a flag, but what do I know? What's the difference? Look at that. Needs the. What's the difference? It's got mesh versus no. Who wants mesh? Like, jeez. Looks weird. Really? Oh my god. Let me guess. People actually do. What? It's still going? Oh my gosh. Is that a heart? Yeah, this is a heart shape. I can't. Tempted as I am. Up. That's cool. The sleepy look. I like how I did the Yeah, I'm all good with that. That's funny. I think the secondary hood's going to be the way to go. Yeah, that's a little much.
Feeling the vibe, you know? Vroom, vroom. Yeah.
Okay, gotta go with that. That steering wheel's fine. Oh, no, I just looked at the hood. I'm like, no, and more no. Yeah, we're gonna keep that lift. What was that? Last saw it. Hey, the rust look.
You catch the new rides over at my spot?
Okay, there it goes. It's the tofu delivery boy. Yeah, we're doing that one. Plate holder. Can we make it go away? Guess not. Didn't really have many options on that one. Why do you have a roof scoop?
Hey, player. Make sure you check out my latest rides.
Don't know why I feel like I should pick that one, so. Okay, we'll do that. I want to see how crazy these things can get. Look at that. That's like too much for this car, really. Like, even that, like, what is that? Like, why did they put that wing in there? I'm sure somebody's using it, but I'm going for the simple.
Yo, did you see Susanna go around that track the other day?
Yeah, we'll just do that.
Ludicrous.
They all do the same thing, so.
I could still beat, but that shit was fire.
And absolutely lower to the ground. Transmission, turbo, all this stuff is a guarantee. Wheel type. That's perfect for that car. I was kind of thinking about that one. It's like that. What do you call it? Can't remember the name of the brand now. It sucks. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for that.
I'll jump in the next race.
There you go. That's cool. Yeah, there we go.
Beautiful LS custom style.
How does it look white? Yeah, we'll do that. Almost looks like a cop car. Bulletproofs all the way. Window spoiler. Dude, how? Get out of the way.
Mimi's sick, but she don't go harder than me, yo. I mean, like, almost. But this player gonna keep you guessing, you know?
Wow, this thing just keeps going. Oh, that's good. I wanted to have a bumper. What the heck? Interesting.
That is fresh to death.
Anyway.
You catch some new rides over at my spot?
Okay, so where are you? Okay, that's that. Alright, so. Okay, we'll do that.
Hey, player, make sure you check out my latest ride.
Futo GTX tuners. Okay. Okay. So we gotta test that one. Somebody came in for a second. Look at that. I don't know. It's a nice looking car. I definitely would drive that in the real road. Anyway, and I like the tofu, so. Join the club, right? And maybe I'm taking this a little bit too specific, right? Maybe I should be a little bit more non-restrictive about the feeling of the speed of the cars. And yes, I want to do tuner this time because we're going to do the Futo GTX. The thing is it makes that's what makes my thinking a little bit difficult when it comes to designing cars when it comes to GTA, and why I think in some respects that Rockstar has had all the problems, because at first you're kind of like, I want to make a car that fits within a certain style or class or look or whatever, and then you think about it and you're like, okay, I can do that, but if I have a range, it's not going to matter because people are just going to pick the fastest car, or we had figured out what the fastest car was, at least in pursuits, pretty much day one. And it took us a little bit because the Vector didn't come out till later, obviously, but it took us a little bit longer to figure out what was the fastest in street racing. But even then, the Urus had kind of started to dominate the field, and then we started seeing the guys using the whatever the Audi variant was. And that's the other thing is these cars, some of them, like the truck, for instance, were definitely made to drift. They weren't made to race, which I think is weird that they would do two things in one class. So the way they kind of set it up, I do appreciate them trying. How's that? Like, I'm going to put it like that because I don't want to bash Rockstar for their efforts because they did a real good job with this. It really is kind of asking, like, where do you drop the ball kind of thing? And I don't want that to sound accusative. I want it to sound like, how do we make the game better? That's what I'm going for. So I don't want people to take it wrong as saying, you know, oh, you're bashing the game, you're saying that Rockstar didn't do this right or do this wrong. Because a lot of people do, especially with like GTA Plus. Nobody liked GTA Plus. We did a poll and it was like, I want to say it was like 70 to 80% of the people were like, they hated or wouldn't sign up for GTA Plus, didn't like GTA Plus, you know, that kind of thing. So it's like, and that's the other thing, they said they weren't going to make GTA Plus a game breaker, and we already saw that they were offering different cars that were not available or getting, you know, basically early access to it. So it's like, okay, what do we got? All it does is throw a wrench into my works. 226. The ZR was 220. Okay. So let's just... I had a lot of stuff in my head about where I wanted to go. And I have to really decide where I want to go. Okay. Let's do the easy class. Let's see. We did compacts. So let's do compact again. There can't be many left in the compact class, right? Ooh, Brioso. Oh, the BF Club. Okay, so we'll do it like this then. The BF Club is the fastest compact we have. So if we do that, we know this is the fastest a compact can go. Perfect. I like that. So cute and tiny. So that's the thing is, I want to try to start winding this down based on what we've tested so far. And I think after we do this set, I want to try basically like, what's the slowest super, you know? And see where that comes into play. I don't think I actually own the slowest super, so that's going to be unfortunate, but at least we'll try one. I actually was very happy that this was the fastest compact. It was so funny. I was doing a race series once, and everybody let people choose what they wanted to, and I tend to choose the stuff that I like versus choosing the stuff that's the fastest if I'm just having fun. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to choose the BF Club, and then everybody picked their own stuff. It was so funny because I had just gotten into this, and I was so into the Conjo at the time. And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta play the BF Club because I've never raced this. I want to see how fun it is. And it ended up being super fun and was just incredibly fast compared to the other compacts. Like, it was so funny how I was just beating people left and right, and I was like, it didn't feel right because it like was leaving people behind so easily. And I kind of felt bad later. I was like, do you want me to change cars? And I'm like, no, this is the one you picked, and this is what you should stick with. So I said, okay, I'll stick with it. And I think a lot of people too were kind of like, you know, you have some good ability, so, you know, maybe a lot of it was me and not the car, but after having tested stuff after, I was like, I don't want to say that. I really do want to give it to the car. Not bad. My coffee got cold. All right. So now we're going to go to sedans, I think. Yeah. And then we'll do the new, that's Cinco Amelia or whatever. And try that. Yes. So this would effectively be the fastest sedan. So that, yeah, Cinco Amelia. So this is the best the sedans can supposedly muster. I haven't really raced this much, so I'm gonna have chromed the crap out of it. Nice turkey on the front there. I didn't like the idea that this didn't do secondary colors. It just said you want it in chrome, and I'm like, fine, we'll take it in chrome. I do like that it's a Lampadati, though, because I'm not really sure what a Lampadati is. I thought it was like Maserati, but it tries to be a Jaguar too, I believe. So got good momentum. See, this is gonna make me think that there's gonna be some sedans that like fit the bill, and it's kind of like painful that that's true. No. Ah, boy. That was a huge screw up. I really was trying to push it. I was like, come on, I can make this happen. And pushed it till I ran it off the rails. So I actually kind of dig this car. I will probably redesign this look later, but kind of still a fun car for now. You know, this car, and obviously being the fastest sedan, I don't know. 220, I think with the crash, probably would have been around 215. So, but that's the best sedans can muster. All right. So now I'm going to jump over to Supers. I'm going to kind of peruse through them because everything in that class is going to be very, very hot. Okay, Banch. Zaruso. Hey, this game. I do have a custom bullet. I wonder if I did anything to it. Custom champion. I don't think I did. Devastates fast, super fast. Okay. Okay. Well, I think the Infernus is going to win this. These other cars are just broken fast. ATR 1 is kind of like, doesn't have a lot of top speed, but it's still, oh, Sultan RS. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Just checking these other ones out real quick. That's interesting. I should have done more to that. I love this car. So that makes sense. Yep. It's not the fastest, but it's the Benny Super. Another car I thought should have been in the sports class. I love this car in GTA 4. Feels nice. The Sultan RS Classic could learn a lot from its big brother here. A certain level of balance that it carries through turns that just feels so nice. This is also one of the few cars that, because I really didn't have because it was in Superclass, there was really no reason to kind of revisit it over and over again. So I think I made the colors for it and then just kind of left it. How funny if this car would be the Super that would be like, okay, yep, it's Calico level. Oh, it wanted to go. Gets developed very. I've noticed that any of the, I'm going to say the real tuner cars in the game, such as the Howl cars and this being Benny's, they're very back. They're tail happy. They want to get loose easy, and that's something that I find very interesting about like the design that went into them. Kind of like a car that, when you throw too much power at something that's not made to have that power, the dynamics and engineering hasn't gone into it to make it perfect, that it really doesn't like doing what it's doing. Nice. So that's the first real car that's fallen into our like zone of confidence, which I think that's crazy. Like, who would have thought that's super, you know? And I know the other Comet is slower. Not that that would really be a tuner. You know, I gotta try it. I am a huge Infernus fan, and I have to see. It's like I'm not even going to record this for the time. I just want to know where it falls. I think it would be great if, like, the Infernus could fall into the tuner class. Ooh, it sounds nice, doesn't it? It'd be nice to have some Benny's action on this, making a Murcielago RGT. Little wide body, cool wheel action on it. Lowered to the ground, maybe a little camber thrown in just for flavor. Still one of my favorite cars. Look at this thing. Oh, pure perfection. Never gets old, too. Like, I mean, this thing has remained... Obviously, there's differences in each rendition of GTA. But if you think about it, the Infernus has very little changes over time and comparatively. So this is exactly how it would have looked in GTA 4. And that's the beauty of it. I still find it funny that, and remember, this is way back in 2013 when everybody's catch-up heavy and supers. I bought one of these just for the fun of it. Instead of playing the Entity XXR, I was driving furnaces around, and because catch-up was on, and this thing has a beautiful 0 to 60. I was actually beating supercar races with this thing, and it was a lot of fun. That didn't last forever, so I ended up having to move back, but still was a blast. I think we are on par here. And the dynamics of this car is very awkward. Like, it wants to stay glued until it comes to a certain point, and then it just wants to let go. And then it'll just spin around. So you have to, no, don't do it. I was kind of babying it a little, but that is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Well, we're going to make up some time here. I don't know. 217. I think it would have done a 212. It's tough to tell. But yeah, that would have fit right into the tuner class. That's crazy. Like, that's how far we've come in sports class cars and all this other stuff. Like, all right. I find it very sad that there's a good chance that we will not see any sort of new tracks. I did write a new track. Did I do tuner again? If I did, that's okay, because I'm going to do the Comet. Yeah, I did. Did it again. Man. See where the Comet sits in it. I wanted to see where this was anyway. Comparative to its retro cousin. And hopefully I don't screw up here, because I've driven. This was my car of choice prior to the Calico. And I didn't get a ton of time with it, but the time that I did, I loved it. And I ended up doing a lot of the testing with this car to kind of figure out where the fastest times were. And this car was just so rhythmically perfect. Like, I'm going to say it straight up doesn't belong in the tuner class. Deserves to have a lot more power. But I'm very happy that it's in the tuner class. That it's competitive against certain cars, has a good top speed. I just think it would be deserving of another level of power. Same as the Growler. Like, the Growler in this car really were not handled well, and they have such a perfect look that it's just amazing. I would have liked the Calico to have been the fastest, and this to be kind of like the second fastest. Basically where the Sultan RS falls, the classic Sultan RS Classic, I think it is, where that falls right now is kind of in that perfect second position, where it's like, okay, I'm going to use a Vector because on street racing because it is the fastest, the Calico because it's the fastest pursuit car. But then this car kind of balances. Like, you go into races and there's still people that kind of still want to use it because it's got that nice, it's kind of like the Feltzer for tuner class. That's the way I should say it. It's one of those cars that, like, yeah, I don't have the best, but you know, it'll hold its own. And if you're good enough to race with it, see how easy that was? Look at that, 211 to the 210 of the Calico. But see, that's the thing is if I'm doing 211s with that, and I go to the 210 on the Calico, you still, why use the Comet S2 when you're using the Calico? That's called angst. So it's like, here's my car choice, the car I love that I can't use. So, whatever. And then they make the convertible, and that doesn't even have an option. It's like, no, I can't do it. I don't know the difference in the settings. I think they're pretty similar. All right. So we've done the Jester, the Drift Tampa, the Sentinel, the Asbo, the Intruder, the Penumbra FF, Blista Conjo, which I hate that it was so slow. What the next to the GT? It was actually slower than the GTX. Man, it kills me. Schwarzer, which we had problems with. The S95, which I guess was too fast. Jester Classic 215. Elegy Retro was too fast. Comet Retro was on par, but a little slow, even though it was very close. I think that was kind of on par with the Comet S2. The Dukes did a 218. So there's a couple of cars in here we've used. Wow, that would have been really slow. How does that end up in that class? So we got to figure out, we got probably about 15 minutes here. Coquette? Yeah, I like the Coquette. We're going to try that, but I just want to look and see what we have here. A lot of cars in this class. Look at that. Haha. Oh, okay, so it's got the flip-up lights. All right, I like this. This car is actually growing on me. Ah, Growler, I love you, babe. It's too bad you messed up. That's going to be way too fast. That might be too fast. But it just makes me wonder that car would be... We haven't done the Komodo yet. The Lynx. There you go. So we got a couple of more sport cars that we want to try. Ooh. Okay. That's another one. I don't know how we're going to fit all these in here for the time. I guess the best way to do is kind of get on it, right? It won't go any faster. Yeah, there we go. I almost want to say this car should just fit right in perfectly for times. So remember, the area we're going for is, what is it, 210 to 226. So if that's the speed that the current tuner class is kind of living in. A lot of these cars for sport class are pretty fast. And we'll see how they all act within that space. We have seen a lot of cars today that I think, like for instance, let's say the Comet Retro Custom, I would really fit into the class. Like the Coquette, I think, even though people would probably argue, even though the Comet S2 is in it, that tuning-wise, some of these vets really do kind of fit in that class. I think we might want to finish up maybe with the Banshee 900 because that car was a drift thing. So I'm wondering if how that would do in actual competition. Whoa! That just stepped out. That was crazy. Like, I wasn't even doing anything, and it just back end came out. I don't think I've ever had that happen on this car. This is such a stable car that just kind of sits there, but sometimes its stiffness can play against it as well. So yeah, remember, we're taking some of these things based on how it's going to feel when... See, that's what I'm saying. It's a very stiff car. I turned it a little bit too far. I didn't like it. And we're taking lines based on how they would happen if we were actually racing in that specific pursuit. So recreated the pursuit race in the creator so that you could kind of feel it out and see how the car would perform. And then we make consistent runs, or as consistent as we can get them. And the reason that if anybody was asking, whoa, all right, bye. 213, okay. A little bit better. Comet S2 still faster though. So yeah, the reason I did join the club was I wanted to have a race that was not a lot of jumps and all that craziness. I wanted something that I could replicate over and over. Like Groving would be a really nice one. But Groving has got a lot of spaces in it where things can go horribly wrong. And even with having races like this where things shouldn't go horribly wrong, we still have things go horribly wrong. So, so we're still doing sport. You know what? We did sedans. I don't think we did coupes again. So we'll go into coupes. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. There's a couple in here that really jumped at me when I was doing it. So I want to do the Komoda, but yeah, I want to do that. So the Rapid GT is a very weird car. It's very similar to the Calico in its stiffness. I'm going to drive this like I would drive a Calico to see how it feels. And I'm going to... That's the other thing. That's why it got me really kind of excited, because I was like, they feel very similar, and it would be very interesting to find out if a lot of the coding that went into the Calico is very similar to the Rapid GT. I can tell there's a lot of differences right now, but I'm thinking that might be because the Calico has some flags that the Rapid GT doesn't, because the Rapid GT came out with the game in 2013. So, but stiff-wise, feels good. That's very Calico feeling back in there that wants to throw out. The big thing about the Rapid GT, which I think was made to trick people into using it, was when it came out, it was a super fast car for the Supers class. Kind of like the 770, but you know how GTA does it so that all these cars... They're not, if it's the fastest car, it has some glaring flaw that keeps it from being the fastest car. The Rapid GT's downfall was that it was so stiff in turns, wanted to spin out, you had to get on the brakes a lot, that people wanted to stay away from it. So that was the issue. But now that we have this other one where there's a Calico that is just as crazy, that Calico wins all the time, so it's the car choice. Makes me wonder how this Rapid GT would handle. So I think I got time for one more car in sport, and then I think we're gonna end it in coupe. Yeah, coupe. So we're gonna do run over in coupe, and then do one more in coupe, and then see where we fall. Wow, 2-0. Don't crash. Yep, that was not what I wanted. See, that's what I'm talking about with this car's stiffness. It's kind of just too stiff for its own good. Hit that dead center. So let's call it 219, 218. And I wanted to find more cars that kind of fit into that 213 zone, which really was, Sultan RS. That was the one. Starting to get stiff. I know you guys that stream for like 20 hours straight. I don't know how you do it. Oh, we didn't even do a sports classic. All right, well, I guess we got to... Let's do the coupes. Yeah, we're going to have to do that. Komodo and some of this other stuff's going to wait. I probably won't do this again, so it'll be good to kind of see what we got. This is the current fastest, which I don't know if I have a time for it. Okay, custom Windsor, custom, so we did the Sentinel. No, we're going to have to try the Previan then. This car is deceptively fast. And that's what I find funny about it being in the compact class, because it now is the fastest compact. But I have used it with... And I missed my boost. Oh well. I've used it with a lot of races that I did not expect it to be competitive in. And it did a very good job of being competitive. So it's a little squirrely, but it handles really well. I think it has a very good Lexus SC like 300, 400 feel. More of a, I think more 300, but I think the game wants to say it's a V8. And for the balance of it, very thin car. I went with a slimmer wing. Do not buy the bigger wing for it, because it'll make you regret doing that. But on a whole, the Previan has led up to being one of my favorite cars. And I find it funny that with some of these cars that they added, a lot of these cars ended up being cars that I really liked or have seen in my life that like it really made me want to say, hey, you know what, that would be nice to own in real life, kind of thing. And it's been a while since something in a game really motivated me to say, hey, I would want to buy a car just because it's, you know, in a game and has a cool look to it that I didn't think about. I just don't. These headlights on this car stink. They're like, it feels like the car wants to be an SC, but it has Cougar headlights, and I'm like, ugh, that's bad. Because the fold of the body, just looks awesome. Like, it looks very sleek, and it doesn't shock me that this would be a car that would be in the class that it's in and as fast as it is. What's he got? 213, see? So basically, Jester time for the Previan. Isn't that crazy? That's cool. So this is the last one, and I think we didn't give muscle enough love today, so we're going to go into the muscle class, go through everything it's got, make the last one a big one. Not a lot of chat today, too. It's kind of depressing. We should... No, Sports Classics? I'm trying to think. If we did Sports Classics, we really would be in F40 territory, and I'm not interested in that. But muscles, I think, definitely deserve some spacing here, because, like, tuner-wise, they fall into that category sometimes. So we'll just go through what we got. Deviant. Yeah, I would love to drive that around. Did that one. I love my gauntlets. Hermes. Yes, that's what we're doing. We're doing the Hermes. Love my Impaler. Look at that. Oh, beautiful car. Okay. I love that thing. I did a video on this to say that this car needed to have a Benny's option, and they literally did a Benny's option the next one, and I was like so excited. See, 2 cars, Voodoo, definitely one of my... Why is that so high? Weird. That was up. Oh, because that one's the rusty one. So I don't have 3. Yeah, there we go. So this is the San Andreas Voodoo. Yeah, this car right here would be too fast. Huh. Forgot which one. Beater Dukes. Look at that. That's funny. All right. So what did I say we were doing here? Because I got my favorite and I'm doing it. Yes. So we're doing. The reason I'm doing this because this is Benny's vehicle, and it's a weird car for what we're doing, but it is an awesome car, and it has a lot of. It's kind of the hot rod or lead sled dream car, and it also handles like a boat. So basically, we took Benny's car, which is always in the tuner hangout, and said, "Okay, let's see what it can do." And I would love to drive this in pursuit. Can you imagine? Even if it's not fast, it's just such a huge vehicle. It takes up so much space, and like it really would just push around those little cars. If the game was handling it correctly, which I highly doubt it would. It's like, hey, cop car, bang, hit it with the Hermes. We're good. Be like a good blocker car. Can you imagine? Like, just like, okay, we're gonna do this pursuit thing. That's something else that I think the game would be very wise to take into account is kind of like pursuit racing in tandem. So you have a team of 2 people, and one person is like maybe a blocker or something, and you guys race together as a team to take on something, maybe an adversary mode or something. Oh, big brakes. That did not want to stop. That was a blast. Oh, come on, walk around. There you go. Woo. Not winning any turning awards with this thing. I'm going to have to brake real early for this. Oh, yeah, I did that. Oh, that was perfect. Yeah, see, like that. Physics was not your friend when it comes to doing it like that. So, and I love how when you're taking turns, like it really does feel like it's just leaning into it. And it would. I mean, it's not going to be on the pace that we want it to be, but still, wouldn't it have been fun to run a 210 on the last one with a Hermes? That would have been so worth it. I love the crashes. All right, so that was it. We did checking out different cars to see did we find anything? I'm gonna say pretty much the cars that I thought would be very friendly to doing what we wanted to do did not make the grade at all. Like just the Jester Classic, the Conjo, Penumbra FF did a 217, which was about the highest we got. Dukes did a 218. So, I mean, you're being outrun by a Penumbra. Feltzer with the 208 was crazy. So that was too fast. Sultan RS, which was, I think, Sultan RS? Yeah, Sultan RS, the supercar Sultan, seemed to be the only car that really said, if you turn me into a tuner, I'll be competitive. So, I mean, what did we learn? I don't know. I am really torn at the results. I did not expect what just happened. And I'm still, if you can tell, I'm a little bit kind of flabbergasted by it, because I think I expected a totally different result than what we ended up with. So, yeah, if you get a chance to see this, review it, look at the cars we tested. Obviously, there was some crashing in there, and there's some times that were off. Maybe I did it wrong. If you don't say, hey, try it with this or try it with that, about the only one that I can't recreate is a Real Education. And the reason is because there's a fence that closes in and out, and it will not open earlier, so there's no way of me testing it accurately. But that was the thing is I can pretty much try with any track, put the numbers together to be competitive and do some other driving and kind of see what we land with at the end of everything. But I think that's pretty definitive that we only were really trying the cars that really fit in with the way. There were some left over, obviously the Spectre Custom. We didn't do the Banshee 900R, so as you can see, some of these cars that are here, we didn't test some of those cars, and it is what it is. Obviously, we didn't have time to do it, but in the long run, I think we ended up with the same thing over again, is that the Calico is a very fast car. It is only really bested by cars within its class. And if we started moving up beyond Feltzer, which Feltzer's kind of like that rim before you start running into the really, really powerful cars. For instance, the Tally GTO, Pariah, all those cars are just too fast. So, and that's the thing is the point would be to make the class continue to be balanced. So the only vehicle, like I said, that we ran into that really made that grade work was the Sultan RS in the super class. So, and we already have a Sultan RS when it comes to what we're doing now. So, I don't know. You guys figure it out. Put something in the comments. Let me know what you think. And we're going to come back later. I'm actually working on a video right now about some of the problems that are with pursuit races, where we'd like to see it go. But that's in the works. And hopefully we'll have it out soon. And hopefully I'll have time to live stream some more and do some of this stuff and share it with you guys. Thanks for the people that tuned in. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time.